And already I'm out of order here. That's all right. Ode to Andy Warhol. Monet of money. Dollar bills for water lilies. Supermarket Cézanne. Soup can still lifes tease us out of thought. Elvis reinvents television. The quiet boy from Tupelo set tubes aglow on the Sullivan Show, slinging guitar like a shotgun, singing Big Mama Thornton. He shook those hips black and white so you knew color was coming. And this is my one hit. I'm a one-hit wonder. After his death, for a number of years after his death, there were Elvis sightings reported all over the country. Elvis was seen as a highway construction worker, as a garbage man, as a traffic cop. And I started wondering if this was in fact Elvis's ghost, and that like Hamlet Sr., he was condemned to return to Earth while he was in purgatory. Purgatory, after all, is just hell, except you get out eventually. And that maybe this was his, for expiation of his sins. In the poem, Henny Youngman is in this poem as the devil. He makes an appearance as the devil. And many of you may not know who Henny was. Henny was a stand-up comedian, the last of the old vaudeville comedians. He would come out on stage with a violin, much like Jack Benny, play a few bars of music badly, and spit out one-liners. Guy walked up to me in the street the other day, said he hadn't had a bite for a week, so I bit him. And just play more bad music, and then another one-liner. And his signature one-liner was, "Take my wife, please." Elvis in hell. Even on days he is condemned to shake off dusty death and rise again to make another roadside cameo before a white line wired rigger highballing Peoria, or a spectral reflection in the Tulsa window shopping reverie of a football widow. Even then, in those moments he is risen under the sun, his soul remains imprisoned in a velvet painting in El Paso, a sequined t-shirt in a boardwalk casino, a Nashville plaster coin bank statuette. These haunts, new and old, render no release for a U.S. mail of the old stamp from the net of impersonators, harpies of regret, drawling old songs that scald like bacon grease. Offer no freedom, sweet and redeeming, like in those golden, olden hound dog days on the flatbed stages of state fair midways, girls in cotton dresses crying and screaming as the music just erupted from within, like gospel grace pouring down from heaven. No more. The ghost gig is mere dumb show, and Stygian nights flash neon agony. For he is not the hot act down below. The king is dead, no headliner he, in sold-out rooms on the infernal strip, just a has-been warm-up for the big marquee, the grinning boss of Mephistopheles, who sets him howling with a quivering lip and a quip. Take my dignity, please. I've been in California for more than 43 years. But I grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
What part?
In the east, Wilkinsburg, Monroeville, Eastmont.
Okay.
I spent my formative years running with the gangs of Eastmont. And of course, most of you know, the city retains an archaic spelling with an H at the end. So, and this poem actually appeared in the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. So. It's got local cred. This is called the H in Pittsburgh. Height of archaic hindsight, heirloom appendage, hangover from Scotch-Irish, hailing from Highland heather and Iberian harbors, held hostage by graveyard shifts in heartbreaking heat. Hunkies who followed, seared faces streaked gray as the stacks spewed dawn. Here's how. To make a Boilermaker drop a shot glass of whiskey into a draft and watch it dive down to the bottom. One or two, and you forget the hour you sweat to hurry and hold. Heaps of slag, hearths igniting the night, hell with the lid off. History of honor stained, homestead holdouts, hireling hoodlums, hammer and tongs hate hanging on in the slow, cold fire of rust. Hills and hollows of home, a rhyme, a whisper, a ghost of a sigh. And here's another Pittsburgh poem. And Napa makes a cameo appearance in it. Kanji, in case you don't know, are the Japanese ideograms, the Japanese and Chinese style writing. So this is called Steel Season. Black water of 3 rivers lie below, defined by city lights. I'm flying back to coal barges still there, floating invisible in the dark. Banking, the plane flies on over moon-run dairies, blue runway lights. I am eager to inhale brittle air and see my breath blow into a blizzard. Japanese clouds ride the jet stream into Napa, drop yellow bursts of mustard between bare vines, gnarled kanji, black and dripping, unpronounceable words you walk among, that could you sound out, get your tongue around, would tell life stories in an utterance. From pampas grass to eucalyptus trees, fault zone transplants thrive. I have forgotten how crowded hills bristle with trees, how stubborn shadows cling to drifts, how red brick houses shoulder the wind, while salt and cinders assault the shoe leather of hunched foot traffic that never looks up. Winter's steel season, old mill hunkies say, furnace work needs cold tempering. They drink Iron City beer and talk of the days of black snow, before the stacks stopped smoking around the clock with a stench of rotten eggs, when cars were steel and real men gladly worked 3 shifts and spit on the grave of Henry Clay Frick. It all comes back. Old fear and anger banked with the bessemers that blasted night skies with a false flickering dawn that still burns, only now in the slow, cold fire of rust. Slag piles surrender ghosts grudgingly to ragweed, dandelion, and the drizzle and grit of one more spring. Allegheny and Monongahela meld in my blood. The first bitter breath remembers me.